Hello, dear students. Okay, so I am going to record a little session for you with regards to our COVID research. And after we do this step, then it's going to take off much faster because basically you'll be responsible then for finding the data on COVID for your particular nations that have been assigned to you, okay? So the last little step that we need to do now is to find the population density. I'm just going to use Daniela's database here to show you, since you all have already your column A for the number for the countries, and then the population for each country, and then the area in square kilometers. Square kilometers, all right, we're using the metric system. And so to find out the population density and to bring everyone on the same page, basically what you do is you open your Excel worksheet, which is essentially, the Excel allows you to do arithmetic and mathematical operations, and even graphs and statistics and tables, as you can see. So it's a very versatile program, okay? To calculate density, first of all, density is the number of things in a particular area or volume. So the number of items in a particular area or volume, that is the density. It could be molecules inside water, or it could be dots on a page, or in this case, it's going to be number of people per square kilometer, for 1 square kilometer, all right? So the surface area. And so it's a very simple operation, and I want to show you how to do it in Excel. So you can do this, and then as soon as you do this in your own Excel, send it back to me. Let me just make this a little bigger so that everyone can see the cells here. Also, the convention for Excel is that the columns are labeled with letters, beginning with A, letters of the alphabet. So these are columns, vertical, A, B, C, etc. Whereas the rows are labeled with numbers. And so horizontally, we can go on rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then the individual cell, this is called a cell, where we have the confluence of a column with a row, all right? So it's a cell, and this cell, they're all labeled, and they can be referred as, for example, this particular cell is going to be B4, all right? So the first cell here is always A1. We put the letter first and then the number, A1. And so this cell down here is going to be C8, C8, all right? Okay, so let's go to this cell here, D2, and figure out the population density per square kilometer for 1 square kilometer of Croatia, the nation of Croatia. It's a simple operation. First, we highlight that cell, then we put an equal sign, and this will tell Excel that we're going to do an operation, an arithmetic operation, okay, equal. After the equal, we select so it's going to be a ratio, as you can see here, population density. We put on the numerator of the fraction of the ratio, we put the population, the total population of the country. And in the denominator, at the bottom of the fraction, we put the total area of the country. And then we execute that division, and we come up with number of people per square kilometer, for 1 square kilometer, all right? So again here, after the equal sign, then we need the total number of people in that country. So we simply highlight that cell over here, and you see that it picks up that cell B2. Then we put the sign of the operation that we're doing. The operation that we're doing is a division. So the / it will make a fraction or tell Excel that this is a division. And then in the denominator at the bottom of the fraction, the denominator is going to be the total area So we go with our cursor to that total area here and pick up that cell, which is C2, all right? So now we have our little operation here defined. And then to execute this operation, we simply hit enter, click on enter, and it will execute the operation for you. So it will do the division very easily to do that. And as you can see, this gives us 72.56 people per square kilometer in Croatia. And that's the population density of the entire country. We want to do that for every country. So then one further step is to go to the bottom right of the cell, the bottom right here, bottom left. At the bottom left, you see that the cursor turns into a cross. You see the cross here, a little black cross. So click on that and then pull down on that cross all the way to the last country. All right, scroll down and then release. And automatically it will populate each cell with the corresponding density. And what is interesting is you can click outside to finish the operation and then go back, and you notice that for the first cell, let's go up to the top. All right, so on the first cell, that's the density of Croatia. But then the one on the bottom, and you can see here on the bar, on the f of x bar, right? The function of x is equal to B2 over C2. That's the operation that it did for cell D2, all right? But when you scroll down to D3, you notice that it changes B3, C3, all right? So it moves down accordingly, B4, C4, B5, C5, you see, and it does that automatically because it is sequential, all right? And so each one of these densities corresponds to the particular country that is lined up on that row. We need to do one last thing because you notice that these are decimals, all right, 72.56, 35, etc. But we don't really have, in humanity, we don't have 72.56 people, and we don't have 103.1 people. We always have whole numbers of people, right? So the last operation that we need to do is to round up all these numbers to round them off. So what you can do is either from the bottom up or from the top down. I like to work from the bottom up. So highlight the last cell here, which is D47. And without going to the corner, just in the middle of the cell, keep your cursor in the middle of the cell and highlight up. Go up and select all of the cells, right? All of the cells all the way up to D2, as I have here. You have selected them all. Then you have to pull down, go to home on the Excel program, go to home here. And this is the tab that you need, the button here where you can add decimal points or reduce decimal points on the number, right? And you want to decrease the decimals to whole numbers. So just keep clicking on that button and you see the numbers are rounding up, right? The decimals are rounding up. And the final, now you have it to whole numbers. So you have gotten rid of the decimals by rounding up to the next whole number. And then you can deselect outside. And there you have all the population densities for each country in whole numbers. In other words, in whole people, all right? Remember how this was 72.5 people? Well, it's actually 73 people. So we round up to the nearest whole number. That is it. And then you save that file, save it, and then send it to me. Once you do these densities, send it to me as soon as possible to give you the next item, which is going to be, we're going to add two more cells here. We're going to add two more columns, sorry. We're going to add two more columns, which is going to be number of infected people by COVID. So column E is going to be number of infected, and then number F is going to be number of deaths. All right, so this is where your real research is going to take off like gangbusters, because now you have to go into the internet and try to find out for each one of the countries how many number of infected are reported and how many number of deaths are reported. So it's going to be all over the place. For some countries, you will have both data very accurate, done like a few days ago. For other countries, you may only have one, number of infected or number of deaths, or neither one, all right? But you have to research this, and this is where you're really gonna have to get into the internet and use all the resources that you can to figure out from each country how many number of infected by COVID and how many number of deaths as recently as possible, okay? All right, so I'm going to close this little video now and send it to you together with your own spreadsheet so that you can move forward. As soon as you have these densities figured out, send it to me just to check and make sure it's done correctly, and then I'll send it back to you so you can continue the project. Thank you very much. So let me close this video and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.